Greetings and felicitations, YouTube. Your healthy, happy, and way here. I have a 2v2 for you. Very excited about this. This is myself playing as Penthesilea of Sparta. I have my ally over here playing as Achilles. And we're playing up against a Hector of Troy player and a Penthesilea's Amazon player. This is just a big old nighttime scrap. Let's go over the armies real quick. So I brought, I brought the army that I actually talked about in my previous video, the one that I said I really wanted to try out and see how it was. I brought with me 5 Laconian swordsmen, a reinforced chariot, 4 Achaean slingers, Menelaus on foot, and 4 Laconian hillmen and 2 axe champions. No XP chevron spent anywhere across this build. This is just all stock as they come. My Phthian ally over here is playing with several. Let's see here. This is 4 renowned Phthian spears. Unfortunately, this unit, it does have the spear bug, so these guys will not have any stagger animations during this battle. 2 champions of Phthia, 2 Aeginean runners, and 2 Thessalian marines, along with 2 bowmen, and he brought Achilles in his chariot. I'm going to tell you why this is a bad idea. Achilles doesn't get to use his abilities, in particular the Divine Challenge, where he gets to duel an enemy lord. He can't do that while he's in his chariot. And by the time he's out of his chariot, he has less health than if he had just gone with no chariot whatsoever. Meaning that by the time he's able to do his Divine Challenge, he'll no longer have as large of a health pool as if you had just started with him being fresh with his Divine Challenge at the start of the battle. Our opponents, our foes, they built their armies pretty much on top of each other, so this is going to be a little bit harder for me to pick out. There's a grand total of 2,300 enemies on the battlefield, so give me a second here. So we have what looks to be, I think, 6 initiates. No, 4, 5... Yes, 6 initiates for the Penthesilea player, as well as, I don't believe any of the chariots were. She definitely brought Anarates, horsewomen. I don't recall seeing anything heavier than those. These are really cool. The mounted skirmishers, a pair of those. The archer skirmisher hero is on horseback. The only thing I don't like about this pick, and I discovered this earlier today, is that when you put the archer skirmisher hero on horseback, she loses the piercing through shield ability. The sharp, I think it's called sharpshooter. She loses that. You only get to keep that if she's on foot or on a skirmish chariot. But her range goes up to, like, yeah, it goes up to 210. It's an absurd skirmish power. Stiganoris here. I think there's probably another one. Yep, there's 2 Stiganoris, 2 Amazon Chargers, 2 Coronites, both of them with 1 XP chevron. And I think that makes up the Penthesilea player. The Hector of Troy player has picked up Trojan slingers. He's spread out a couple of XP chevrons. I'm assuming this is just whatever money was left over at the end of the battle. Oh, there is a daughter of Ares over here. I did forget that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 renowned swordsmen, 2 heavy shock spears. This is an interesting unit. Its speed is only 35, and it's a 2-handed spear unit, so and only a 30 charge bonus. So these guys really only get 1 opportunity to do their job. Wow, their damage is only 70. They must be affordable. I don't know. I don't spend much time with these guys, that's for sure. And 2 heavy Trojan chariots. His lord is this fighter vanquisher, which is a good pick if you think you're going to be facing somebody. Oh, there's a morale penalty for night battles. Really? Well, that's interesting. I didn't notice that until just now. I'll have to look into that. That's something I hadn't seen before. There's a morale penalty for being unprepared for night battle. Interesting. I'm probably going to stop doing night battles then for multiplayer. But anyway, so the Fighter Vanquisher is an interesting pick if you're playing against, say, somebody like Paris or, I think, Mycenae. Because this guy is going to be good for challenging the enemy hero. He also gets the Divine Challenge ability. That would be great if you were going to gamble that your opponents were going to bring duelists themselves. Sparta and Phthia both have duelist legendary heroes in Achilles and Menelaus. Both of these guys are going to beat up a fighter vanquisher anytime they face. So anyway, when this battle got started, I deployed with my slingers up here and my my flanking force hiding in the scrub, hoping to try and bait my opponent to come up this way, and it starts to work. I'm getting my my chariots over here to help me deal with this as I push my my Laconian swordsmen down the hill on this side of the cliff face. The archer skirmisher here is the first one out here, as well as the mounted skirmishers. Now these guys have Strider. They're not going to get caught in the trees. But I'm still hoping that we'll get him a little closer. At this point, he knows about the Laconian hillmen, so I'm just going to go ahead and order the attack and hope I can get in there. I'm pretty sure they had skirmish mode turned on, because I don't think the player actually saw me there. So all I do manage to do is push them out. But here comes the heavy Trojan chariots. They're in the scrub right now. If I had continued, I might have been able to catch that one heavy Trojan chariot. But it doesn't quite work out for me. I'm going to go ahead and pull back. I want them to go ahead and waste their javelins into my Laconian hillmen in the tree line, because they are at least getting the shield block chance. But as you can see here, my Achaean slingers are really exposed. My reinforced chariots were getting shot up. My slingers were trying to do some damage on the archer skirmisher. It wasn't happening. I need to pull back. My my Phthyian ally over here has moved up his light infantry into the tree line over here, and he's pushing up with his spears. He's going to make a line for his spears. I believe, if it'll show me his orders, it doesn't look like it will. No, it doesn't. He's going to set up his spear line right over here, which is perfect. But as you can see, I have no choice but to try and charge and pin down these heavy Trojan chariots. The heavy Trojan chariots are going to beat my reinforced chariots here, and this is just brutal. This is carnage. There was nothing I could do about this. Orders came way too late, and I'm sitting there going, oh no, my slingers. Before the battle's even started, they're turned into a grinder. Look at their morale absolutely plummets across all 4 units. That's about 1,000 points of my army right there, just gone. Meanwhile, I'm taking advantage of his micro being over there to try and charge. I've already destroyed one of the Stiganoris here, and the heavy shock spears are trying to come out here and counter me. The mounted skirmishers are going to have no problem staying away from my infantry, but I'm still thinking, hey, you know what, there's some more Stiganoris over here. The heavy shock spears are coming in, so I try and run around the heavy shock spears. I'm going to charge the shock spears with my axe champions, maybe try and slow them down a little bit more in my Laconian hillmen, and keep using these 2 Laconian hillmen to keep pushing these mounted skirmishers. Little do I know, I'm going to run into a Daughter of Ares over here soon. The initiates are holding the ground over here, but their morale is kind of weak. They might be about to get some Aegean runner javelins chucked at them. Not entirely sure. Over here, a horsewoman has actually come to support the flanking efforts of Hector's chariots. It's grabbed one of my Achaean slingers. Achilles decides to come out here and try and help slow down these heavy Trojan chariots. This is actually a blessing and a curse. It's a curse because Achilles instantly loses his chariot in this battle. Chariots do have anti-large, but he still has anti-large, and now he's on foot. So he's actually going to start turning this battle around against these heavy Trojan chariots, and he's going to deal with these himself. He's already got 6 kills, and that's only against chariots. Meanwhile, I've got Menelaus out here supporting my main line attack. We're dealing with renowned swordsmen against champions of Phthia. Oh man, we've got the heavy Phthyian spears in place, taking on renowned swordsmen of Troy. He's moving up more and more of his infantry, and champions of Phthia are going to have no problem beating up this initiate. It's a back and forth battle over here in the scrub. My Laconian hillmen get routed by the Daughters of Ares, but I am able to hold and start beating back the heavy shock spears of Troy. They do outflank with Stiganoris and try and get behind my axe champions, and they're trying to shoot the axe champions as well. The good news for me is that I'm still in the scrub line, so I'm not losing this yet. My Laconian hillmen are going to come back, and they're going to recharge into this attack over here. Help me to secure that. Look at this. Achilles is now on foot, getting away from these 2 beat-up heavy Trojan chariots, which are now, I think they're just going to try and hide out over here in the scrub and try and be useful for the late game. Horsewoman gets caught on one of my... I actually catch this horsewoman with one of my Laconian swordsmen, just trying to make sure I'm keeping units useful and reliable positions. We've beaten up this heavy shock spear. I'm now going to go ahead and send my 2 Laconian swordsmen back to support the Thessalian Marines, who have these guys pinned. Usually it's the other way around. You want the swordsman to pin somebody, and the Marines will come in and help it out. Excuse me. My Laconian swordsmen are actually doing really well, despite, you know, the heavy fighting power of both the Trojan player and the cavalry of Penthesilea. The Anaraites are a particular threat to me, but they are just a light cavalry. If you can hold them down for a while, you can beat them up, as well as the mounted skirmishers. Over here, I catch the fighter vanquisher into a duel. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Even surrounded and being attacked by mounted skirmishers, heavy shock spears, slings, all of this, even with all this around me, Menelaus is beating the tar out of this fighter vanquisher. It's going to turn that around. Here's the archer skirmisher hero for Penthesilea looking pretty, but as you can see, the Phthyian infantry just pounds right through the combined Penthesilea and Hector infantry, and now we're off to the races. My axe champions and Laconian hillmen, the Laconian hillmen with their fear effects, have helped to turn the tide over here. You can see the morale is really low all across the line for all of these units that were helping to fight me out here. I'm pushing in. I'm actually have an attack order against this Trojan slinger. It's now routing. Everybody's routing down the line, and yeah, it's not looking good for the Trojan side of this battle. Here comes those two chariots out of the tree lines back there, but they're not going to be able to help out too terribly much. As you can see, I've just broken this fighter vanquisher hero, and it's off to the races as I have to try and catch him. The initiates here trying to slow me down. Here's Menelaus surrounded by fans of adoring fangirls, I guess. I don't know, probably not. They probably hate him just as much as everybody else did in the Iliad. But hey, there he goes. It's, as you can see, routing enemies in the background. Some skirmishers here, but not enough power, time, or ability to pull it off. I pretty much am down to just one task at this point, and that's knowing that the power bar is where it is. If we could just kill this Vanquisher hero before he gets off the battlefield, this battle is over. So I'm focusing so much time and attention and energy and clicking orders for Menelaus to just break through this and kill this man. Meanwhile, all across the battlefield, we're getting really favorable engagements. We're beating up infantry. A lot of it's shattering all over the place. Mounted skirmishers are coming back. These Trojan chariots are going to try and make a late arrival. Maybe they can get a hit on this champion of Phthia. Maybe rear attack some of this stuff. Maybe the bowmen. I don't know. They got to try something, though. We're outflanking heavy infantry units and destroying them where we can. Beating them up all across the line. Menelaus is starting to catch up with the fighter Vanquisher. We're getting closer. As you can see, he does have a little bit more speed than the Vanquisher at this stage. Vanquisher only speed 26 now, and Menelaus at speed 36. He finally catches him, gives a good hit, and then starts running the wrong direction for some reason. We've backed the Trojan Alliance into a corner, and with that, we finally claimed the enemy hero. He's finally out, and right with that, the shatter happens all across the battlefield. The chariots showing up too little, too late, and that is it. There you go. It was a fun battle. It was fun to record. It was back and forth. I definitely lost big with the heavy Trojan chariots attacking my slingers and my chariots, removing them from the battle completely. Actually, look at the stats. 0 kills for any of my slingers, 0 kills on the reinforced chariot, but it did deal damage to the heavy Trojan chariots in the form of 1 XP's worth. 1 XP's worth. The Axe Champions also earning 1 XP. Laconian Swordsman picking up 3 XP across all 5 units. And one of my Laconian Hillmen picking up 1 XP. I loved, actually, the flanking power of the Axe Champions and the Laconian Hillmen. This worked out really well. And I'm very grateful to Linnaeus and Desjardins for helping to carry a little bit of that fight, especially against the Trojan chariots. I couldn't believe that Achilles was able to handle those chariots by himself, and I think it was a mistake for the Trojan player, for Agostio Rio Torto here, to pull his chariots all the way away from the engagement. They could have come around a lot sooner and really contributed something else. And they could have stayed away from Achilles too after they knocked him out of his chariot. Oh man, the kills though, 150 and 24, most of that on my poor Achaean slingers, which thankfully played the part of like a Dardanian rabble at the very least, you know, like in the sense that they didn't have to contribute much, they just had to be bodies and slow down the enemy. I only ended up losing, this is about 2,400 of my 12,400 funds, right? It's the 4 Achaean slingers and a reinforced chariot. Yeah, a little less than 2,400 actually. And thankfully, I was able to get the other jobs I needed to do done with the rest of it. In particular, the Laconian Hillmen with the Axe Champions. I thought they fought really well on our far left flank. Lenain de Jardin, as you can see here, the the health on his units is near impeccable. He did phenomenal, especially with those Aeginian runners. The Champions of Phthia also did really well. Renowned Phthyan Spears holding the line as they should. Achilles himself, 27 kills, most of those on well, not most of those, I should say, but a bunch of those on the heavy Trojan chariots. Total War Playboy, who picked up Penthesilea's Amazons. Unfortunately, the Amazon factions, especially Penthesilea, need a bit of a buff right now. They're not quite performing up to specs. 142 kills with the Daughter of Ares. Really, really good performance from them. 51 kills with the Archer Skirmisher hero. Archer Skirmisher is probably my favorite hero choice right now. So all in all, really fun time playing with these guys. And I have more team battles that I got to do the other day, and I'm going to put those into future videos because there was some really, really cool stuff that I got to do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Ta-ta for now. Love you all. See you in the next one.